1, 2, 3, 4. Can't get enough of this. Can't get enough of this. Can't get enough. Get enough of this. Can't get enough of this. Can't get enough of your love. Of your love. You got me feeling.
What's up, Auspicious family?
Hey guys.
Welcome to another Auspicious vlog. We're gonna start with the video of us in the news when we were first already at
Valley Children's?
Yeah, Valley Children's, and I was trying to contact the news and I was having no luck, and finally I was able to, and they called us up. They told us that they had a couple questions for us that day. And we're getting ready to leave, actually, and it was so unexpected. Pam had just gotten ready because we were gonna leave eventually, so she was already ready. I was not camera ready. I was just, on some random hat that I had found.
And you had sweats on too.
I had sweats on, and in the interview, I don't even want to look at the camera. I'm just like because they caught me off guard. And so, anyways,
and you were trying to have me do it myself, and I was like,
yeah,
no.
I was like, why don't you just talk in the camera? I don't want to, because I was just not camera ready. I was just, a bit embarrassed.
Even the way she made it sound, totally threw me off, because she was like, yeah, we can meet and talk, and I was like, okay, yeah, and then I remember
we should have knew better.
Yeah.
We should have known better.
And then I remember her pulling up, and I was like, okay, Mondo, she's here, and then all of a sudden,
there's a camera.
She's standing outside, and the cameraman, and I was like, oh my gosh, Mondo. I was like, they have a camera. I was like, good thing that I got ready, because I wasn't going to. Sorry, guys. Oh my gosh.
I thought they were gonna come in and just kind of ask us questions.
Yeah,
that's it, and then they'll work on the story or whatever. So I got a clip from the news, and hopefully I don't get in trouble for putting it up. Okay, so here's a clip of our first news appearance. Enjoy.
Bakersfield couple searching for a diagnosis and treatment for their baby, but they still have no definitive word on what's wrong with them.
But the mother and father are sharing their heart-wrenching story with 17's Amber Frias, and she joins us now in studio with the details. Amber?
Jim, baby Nathan was born full-term last fall, weighing just 2 pounds. At that time, his condition puzzled doctors. As time has passed, more health issues have emerged, compounding this family's desperation to find answers.
This sweet little boy is Nathan. Before he was born, doctors began to notice he was small. They had Pamela Aguirre visit a specialist during the end of her second trimester. That's when it was confirmed Nathan was not growing normally.
And I prepared myself for him being small. I prepared myself for the dwarfism, for whatever, came our way. But
Nathan was delivered October 6th, weighing only 2 pounds, 15 ounces.
it's not what you expect,
He wasn't premature, so Nathan's size confused physicians. He's been in the hospital for observation since he was born. Nathan needed to gain weight to be discharged. In the following weeks, he gained 3 pounds, then topping 5 pounds. Nathan was finally ready to be discharged until the seizures started.
He just cries with so much pain, something's bothering him. And it's the point where he cries so much that it's so painful that he actually stops breathing for 15 seconds. He turns gray, his veins pop out, and it's horrible. It's horrible to see that.
Nathan was transferred to Valley Children's Hospital in Madera. Doctors there still haven't figured out what's causing his symptoms. The medical staff reached out to Rady's Children's Hospital in San Diego for genomic testing, which helps identify illnesses in newborns. By studying Nathan's DNA, they were able to find that he has an extra chromosome, which is an unusual diagnosis because
it's rare. He's, the 8th person in the world to have something similar to what they're saying. And that's pretty much, just all they know for right now. It's so new.
Nathan's food intake has also suffered.
He has the interest to, but he won't. He gags, so he has that reflex. So the nurse just thinks that, it's just it may just go downhill, from here, but we don't know.
Nathan will remain in the hospital for additional testing. The goal is to try and control his seizures and eating.
He could be fine this week, and then next week it's another thing. And next week's another thing. And that's pretty much where we're at.
For the first 3 months of this little boy's life, his parents continued the journey from Madera to Bakersfield to comfort Nathan at his bedside and still care for his 10-year-old brother who is autistic. Nathan's parents remain hopeful that someone will figure out how to help their baby. But for now, it remains a medical mystery.
Now, there's a GoFundMe account for the family to help with expenses. You can find the page under Baby Nathan's NICU Fund. Amber Frias, 17 News.
So, Pam was really emotional in that interview, but
Yeah.
it was just very hard for her to talk about, about what was going on. And you can see the pain in her eyes and her voice. It was something very hard for her to talk about. For months, it was not easy for her whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. At the time of the interview, we
hadn't heard.
because in the interview, it was like it affects 8 people in the world.
Yeah.
And at that time, that's what the geneticists had told us.
Yes.
Like,
So there's a lot of misinformation during these times because one geneticist would say something and then one doctor would say something else. Mm-hmm. And so we were just kind of saying whatever we were told. So now, there's so many things that we need to clarify, and timelines that are just weird. But try to keep up with us, and we will do another Q&A later on. So that way, if you have any questions about any of this, we can talk to you guys about it. Yeah. So we knew the diagnosis right there, but they didn't know what else to do with it. But it's very important to me to share how is it that they found it, how they found the diagnosis, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? I think they contacted us, right? A month later, we're already in the hospital, and they contacted us because they wanted to do a video, right?
They wanted to interview us for Kids Day.
There you go.
Yeah, so Kids Day is where a lot of local organizations in Fresno, they donate their time and their money to the Fresno Bee, and they like to interview parents, families who are in Valley Children's and...
Oh, you know what, Pam?
What?
You're right, but you're missing one thing, is that the newspaper, the Fresno Bee, all the newspapers sold that day for Kids Day is donated to the hospital for funding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why they did that. So they came and interviewed us, and they put us on
Yeah, we were on
the actual newspaper.
Yes.
The peculiar story was about how they found Nathan's diagnosis, which was the Baby Bear Project.
Mm-hmm.
But then that led to something else, which was the actual interview of us with a video. Because they said they were going to have a convention later on.
But that wasn't
right?
until we were already discharged from the NICU. Because remember, we went back to Valley Children's for an appointment at
And
the
that's
genetics,
when they wanted to do the
and
interview.
that's when...
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Pam's right. Yeah, we're out of the hospital already. So that's why the timing of this video, the ones that we're going to show you guys, is off, because this is something that was recorded after we're already out of the hospital. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys this video. Pam was supposed to be in the video, but Nathan was just not, calming down. He was crying, and he was still little. He was still smaller, and he always needed to be held in order for him to stop crying. So in this interview, it's just me. So I'm going to show you guys. Check it out. Enjoy the video.
Baby Bear Project has been very important for us because Valley Children's Hospital is a level 4 NICU, which means that we get referrals for very complicated babies from all the Valley. And these little babies, many of them come with congenital malformations or congenital defects, and that sometimes we have ways with genetics to identify what the cause of these genetic defects these babies have, and we are able to then give the family a diagnosis.
So whole genome sequencing is a very powerful technology and test, combing through the entire human genome using the very powerful next generation sequencing. In comparison, the whole exome sequencing covers only 1% of the whole genome. So we are really excited about this very powerful test that we can use on our patients for diagnosis.
They got us in a place where we know now. I guess what I always say is, when we found that needle in a haystack, you know, and now we know what to do with that needle. We're just happy that we know. We're happy that we know what it is now. Everything's so new, you know, even now, yes, you know the symptoms, and he has loose skin, he has seizures, he had cataracts, he had a malrotation. Now that we know that, we see the symptoms, we can control them and tell other people, you know, what it is.
Now that we have that whole genome sequencing, with that process now we're able to identify new diseases, and sometimes when we identify a specific new congenital disease, there's also something that we can do to change the way we're taking care of the babies, which helps us and helps the families.
So we are really delighted and consider it a privilege to be part of the project Baby Bear and to be selected as one of the 5 sites in the state of California. We also consider it as a testament to the pivotal role our hospital plays in the health of children throughout the Central Valley of California. We hope to continue to get this help even after the project is over. I hope this will become a reality for not just the Medi-Cal patients, but also for the non-Medi-Cal and private insured patients, and some kind of legislative measures are taken.
All right, guys, so that was Mondo's big debut. They actually took that video to this really big conference. I believe it was in San Diego, and the purpose of the video was because they wanted to get granted for the project, and so
Funding.
Yeah, for the funding. So they asked us to be a part of, you know, the video, to kind of like share our experience, and so they knew how grateful we were for it. So at the conference, they showed that video. So a couple weeks later, we went back up to Valley Children's, and we ran into the media team and the guys from the genetics department, and they were like, everybody loved the video. Everybody in that convention was crying. Every hospital, they want that video. You know, everyone wants to get involved with the Baby Bear project because of that video.
Yes.
And that is that's something really special, you know? Like, just the fact that Baby Bear helped us so much, because for the first 3 months of Nathan's life, we had no clue on what was wrong with him. We just knew that he was a full-term baby, and he was born at 2 pounds. That's all that we knew.
Yeah.
And so for Valley Children's to have this thing, I mean, it was amazing. And then for us to be able to share our experience and to kind of tell our story, even if it was just a minute or so, it's still a really big deal. And it's still something that, I mean, I wasn't in the video, but but I mean, it's still something that, you know, to be proud of. Yeah. And I mean, the fact that I'm not saying that we're gonna help people, but we kind of are, because we're influencing these hospitals, I guess you can say, along with Valley Children's, to, you know, to people to use, you know, to go there to Valley Children's or for other hospitals to take up on the Baby Bear project.
Yeah, because They told us that at first it was just for grants, for them to kind of approve another year, or I don't know, however many years at Valley Children's, for them to approve more funding for that project to remain at Valley Children's. But then it turned into something more after people saw that video, because then it turned into not just granting for that hospital, but for everybody to know of whole genome sequencing, because there's a lot of people out there right now that are undiagnosed still and don't have no idea what's going on, and no one knows of whole genome sequencing because this is something new. So it's turning into a bigger thing, because our story is very touching. Not only is it for Nathan, his rare genetic condition and everything that we're going through, but it's also about having to find out what's wrong and then trying to tackle it down, you know. If there's a family out there that has got no answers, you know, there's like that show on Netflix called Diagnosis. Who knows if this whole genome sequencing could have helped all those people in that show Diagnosis, you know, because a lot of people don't know about this. So that's why it's turning into a bigger thing. So it's not just here locally here in California. This is turning into an around the world news, that it's underrated, in my opinion. It's not getting the media coverage that it should get. So I think that's why we're talking about it more, because from their reaction and what they were telling us about how everybody was moved by the story and everybody wants the video, because it's making news in the medical field.
And that is exactly what a groundbreaking state-funded pilot program called Project Baby Bear is hoping to change.
Project Baby Bear is super exciting because we've now proven that genome sequencing makes a difference.
The $2 million Medi-Cal-funded project, led by Rady Children's, is making this advanced diagnostic testing available to about 150 babies at 5 hospitals in California.
The other thing about it is it saves money, that many of these babies don't need to stay in hospital for months. They can promptly go home on the right treatment.
We've already treated over 105 babies. We know statistically that some of them would have died.
State Representative Brian Mainshine from San Diego is co-chair of the Rare Disease Caucus. It was his request to get genome sequencing for critically ill newborns added to the California budget.
This really is a huge achievement, and we're going to have all these kids, these babies, get good treatment, and we're going to save the healthcare system millions of dollars. It really is a win-win.
Project Baby Bear is expected to wrap up next month. Then the data on the babies treated will be presented to the Secretary of Health, hoping it will be approved as a Medi-Cal covered expense at all California hospitals, affecting about half of all babies in intensive care. A lot of eyes are watching California. We are pioneers in this. Florida just started doing the same thing, and some private insurers are now starting to cover whole genome sequencing as well.
So that's why I thought it was important to share it with all of you guys, because you guys can tell other people about it, and not just because of us or our story, but just remember the name whole genome sequencing. It could help a lot of people. So the video was short, but it was to the point, and that's all that we need. Man, that was a tough journey being in there, honestly, in the NICU.
It was.
I think it's so important. It's so important. There's so many people that don't know what's going on out there, and I appreciate the people at San Diego, the people at Baby Bear Project, the people at Rady's. Is it Rady's?
Rady's.
I appreciate you all. And that's our cue to leave. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one. If you want to get shouted out on our next video on Fridays, all you got to do is
turn on post notifications, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And I did that backwards.
This is the second time she does this. At the ending of a Tuesday video. This is the second time she does this.
Okay, wait. Retake. Subscribe, turn on post notifications, and leave a comment down below. There you go.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. We appreciate you guys. We'll see you guys on Friday, our live video, and our YouTube video as well. Okay, so as my family always says, remember, you are auspicious. We'll see you guys.
Bye.